about three or four things that we want to talk about today, which we think are hot topics. But before we do that, I want to say that we're missing the lovely Sharon Michael Chadwell. And with me today, we've got Caleb Alexander, and he's going to be here. And myself, I'm Chris Dawkins. I'll be your host for today. One of the things we want to talk about is the Shador Sanders situation. The reason why that, for me at least, it continues to be something that is intriguing is because there are some people, both black and white, that want to say, "Well, it wasn't racial." I don't necessarily believe that, but that's what they want to say. And then there was a text kind of going around that said that the NFL said that all teams, 32 teams, not to draft him. So everybody thought at the very beginning that this guy would go in the top 10. Mm-hmm. Okay. He might not have been first. He might not have been second, because you had Cam Ward that went 1st, mm-hmm. and then you had the guy, Travis Hunter, who went second. But they said, don't draft Shador Sanders. So he wasn't drafted in the first round. He wasn't drafted in the second round. He wasn't drafted in the third round. He wasn't drafted in the fourth round. And he was drafted number 144 in the fifth round. Okay. So that is a real issue. You have any thoughts on it?
I mean, I remember the Johnny Manziel situation. I think a lot of the coaches remember that as well. And so I imagine a lot of the coaches probably were thinking that Shador would be a repeat of that, someone who's, famous and wealthy already and has a really outsized personality.
But wait a minute, Caleb. That I don't see that as being valid. Okay, an argument for what's going on. This is a guy that can make your team better. Okay,
I'm not legitimizing their argument. I'm just saying a lot of them remember that situation. They remember this outside ego. They remember Manziel. They remember the party, and they remember. So I mean, a lot of them may have been thinking this may have been a similar situation.
And they've taken issues like this to a number of people. Okay, who weren't good, and they decided to take them. There's a whole lot of quarterbacks and so forth that they took that wasn't as good as Shador, but they took them.
Right. And then there's also the issue of maybe. I mean, you asked me. I'm just saying it may have been a situation too where if we take Shador, we got to take Dion. So, do you want to deal with?
Now that's a question.
Do you want to deal with that?
Because the Browns is my team. Okay, the Browns is my team.
Okay.
However, I did not want them to take him because I thought Dion was going to be too much of an influence. But it looks like, if nothing else, they have humbled both Dion and they've humbled Shador. Mm-hmm. That now he's got to go and work for his job and his position. Yeah. So
is that a legitimate question? How disruptive would that be to the team, to the locker room if you have Dion out there with his platform constantly commenting?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so these are people, man. These are billionaire owners, and so they make a lot of money. These teams are very valuable, and so they have to watch out for the value of these franchises.
About three or four things that we want to talk about today.
That's the question. How much of that do you want to deal with if you're an owner of a team? You know what I mean? And how much would those comments devalue your team, or how much would those comments influence the coaching or the locker room mentality or morale or whatever? You know what I mean? So, again, this is just my thoughts on it. I support the young brother. I want him to get his money. I want him to have a stellar career, a long-term career, but just my opinion of what happened.
So for all the viewers out there, we want you to, give your comments in the chat and let us know that you're there later on in the show. We're going to be giving away 5 tickets to the Wiz, and we're going to have a drawing. And if your name is in there, then you can get the drawings to get 2 great tickets, or we're going to give away 5 and 5 pair. And Caleb is He's whispering in my ear
Go
here.
up here.
Okay. But anyway, I just want you to know, please comment on what your thoughts are on the Shador Sanders, and stay with us until the end, and we will be choosing 5 pairs of tickets for them to go. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. I wanted to talk about kind of Trump's 100 days. Okay. For me, it didn't make any difference because for those of you who don't know, I'm 60 days out. I'm leaving for Costa Rica. Y'all do what you want to do. I talked to another friend of mine here in town, and he's saying, well, the Supreme Court is going to save us from everything that's going on. I said, well, I ain't got faith in that. You
You
know,
ain't listening to the Supreme Court.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying the exact same.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The exact same thing. I said, so if you want to continue to look at that and believe in that, I said, then you're more than happy to do that. The thing that happened last night that was also appalling, and I don't know if you saw it, but Jasmine Crockett did a short video about the committee that they were in, and all the Republicans voted, which it passed in their committee, for them to be able to deport American citizens, which means it's their constituents.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I understand that. I know what they've been trying. That's the red. I mean, it's the red line. I saw this meme that says, "Whatever you Americans wish Germany would have did in 1938,
Right.
you need to do that now." You know what I mean? You need to stop them now. So no, that's alarming. What he did, the other thing he did, in addition to the House voting to deport American citizens, which again it's unconstitutional. There's not a single judge who's going to rule that that's constitutional. Is he took the area along the U.S. border and made all of that a military base.
Right. Right.
So that means the military can stop and question and arrest anybody, including American citizens, along the border because that's now a United States military base. All of this stuff is highly illegal and highly unconstitutional. You know what I mean? And so he's now able to deploy U.S. troops and give them the power of arrest along the border.
The Gulf of America. Can you
Yeah.
believe it?
Yeah, he's insane. I mean, the thing is, these people here, man, they voted for a guy who didn't even know what the Declaration of Independence. The reporter, you see the reporter ask him, "What do you think of, you know what I'm saying? What does the Declaration of Independence mean to you?" And he didn't know what the hell to say. He was standing up talking about, it's a big, beautiful document. It's a declaration of beauty and unity. He didn't even know what it was. And these idiots, they voted for another idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I hope you guys are proud of yourself that you put into office somebody who doesn't even know what the Declaration of Independence is. That's who you put in office. And they need to just go ahead and say, you know what, we voted for him because he was white.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff going on. They've already deported American citizens. They deported people who had not committed any kind of crimes or whatever.
Man,
and they've done whatever they want. Huh? Yeah.
Babies.
Right.
Babies who are American citizens.
Right.
Babies who were born in the United States, who have birthright citizenship, little kids, 3-4-year-old, 2-month-old babies. They're deporting babies who are American
Tell
citizens.
us all about it, Caleb. Go ahead. Keep going.
There's nothing I can say. No, I mean, if you're not paying attention, then stay asleep. You know what I mean? Because it's just because it'll eventually get to you. That's just he is going down the line. He's going down the line, and eventually.
So, what is the hope for Americans, and what is the hope for Black Americans?
I mean, the hope for Americans is one, they need to stand up and stop it. They need to take to the streets. What is it, J.B. Pritzker, the governor? Mm-hmm. He said, "I've never advocated for Americans to take to the streets and disrupt society." He said, "I'm advocating for that now." You know what I mean? He said, "This is dangerous." You heard the Republican senator from Alaska. She's a Republican senator, says, "We're scared. We're all scared." You have a United States senator who's telling the American people that the United States Senate is scared of what this guy is doing. You have this guy going after judges. Ketanji stood up to him. She gave an amazing speech to a conference of judges.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, and she had a standing ovation. She laid it out clearly. This is a threat to the Constitution. This is a threat to American people. This is a threat to our democracy. And judges are under attack. Judges' families are under attack. and that they need to stand up. The courts need to stand up. The courts need to resist. But it can't. The courts. I mean, it's everybody needs to resist. This is a dictatorship does not just affect Democrats.
What do you
or
say?
liberals.
What do you say about those people who voted for him? I think it was 60 Minutes or somebody else did a story which said that they interviewed a lot of people who voted for him, and the majority of them, not all of them, but the majority of them said we like what he's doing, and there was too much fluff and expense that we had, and he's getting rid of that, and we need to go in a new direction, and so they were all for it.
I mean, that's interesting because I've seen voters say, some voters say, "Oh yeah, I like it." I've seen some voters say, "We didn't sign up for this. This is not what we voted for." I mean, I think you have a variety of folks on both sides that really. I mean, but look, when they start, I wonder how many people voted for the stock market to tank and for them to lose all their savings, all their 401k savings. How many of you people actually really voted for that? How many people voted for you to lose your Medicaid and Medicare?
Right.
Or your food stamps or your housing? How many of you actually voted for that? How many of you voted for millions of Americans to get fired and lose their job? You know what I mean? He's shutting down. It's 90,000 people from the VA alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? The entire USAID gone. They're restructuring the State Department. I mean, these people are firing millions and millions of Americans who are going to lose their job. This trade war is causing businesses. How many people voted for small businesses to go out of business? And those small businesses hire people. They hire American citizens. So how many people voted for all these millions of people to lose their jobs, lose their savings? Did you actually really vote for this? Did you actually really vote to lose your health care?
You're not the right person. I really want to ask this, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. What about those people who say God's going to take care of us? We just need to trust in the Bible. What do you say about that?
I think we've covered this. The Lord helps those who help themselves. You can't. I mean, there's faith, but there's also works, right? You need works. So yeah, you can pray and then get up off your butt and take action. Whatever action you have to take, whether it's a lot of people around the country. May 1st, May Day, people were out there taking to the streets. They were holding up signs. They were protesting. So whatever act of resistance you can do or perform, you have to do it. Get on the phone. Call your representative, call all the representatives. You don't have to call all your own. Call all of them and let them know, hey, look, I'm not, do your job. We need oversight. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with millions of people getting fired. I'm not happy with Doge having all my personal information. What are they going to do with it? I'm not happy with the trade wars. You know what I mean? People who, I don't want to pay, $50, $60, $70 for a $10 dress from Temu.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
right.
whatever it is.
Right.
People need to let their, people order stuff from Amazon. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad Amazon's going to start putting the cost of the merchandise and then the price of the tariff. So people will know, okay, this costs $10, but because of this tariffs, you're paying $40 for it because there's a $30 tariff on it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I'm glad Amazon's doing it. Every company needs to do that. Okay. Every company needs to let the American people know what this tariff is actually costing them.
Well, let me just say, look, for our viewers, you've heard enough about Trump. You've heard enough about this administration. To me, every day, it's like I turn on the TV to see what Dennis got into. I call that as what yeah. Dennis the Menace. That's what I call Trump. But for me, what I'm saying is that you are inundated with this information. But being inundated with it, from my standpoint, doesn't mean that anybody is doing anything.
Yeah, don't be so overwhelmed.
So I'm going to end the discussion on that right here.
Well, no, I mean, really, first 100 days has been a disaster.
Right.
A complete disaster. We have lost a lot of weight. We lost $7 trillion from the economy.
Wow.
We lost thousands of jobs. We lost standing in the world because people no longer trust us and believe in us.
Right.
We become the pariah of the international community. And it's going to take a long time to build those bridges and build that trust back. People do not trust the United States of America right now. And
I wouldn't trust them.
I wouldn't either. But the thing is, when people start turning to China as a force of stability in the world, we're in trouble. You know what I mean? When people start looking at China saying, You know, China is going to make sure everything's stable. When China's the good guy and America's the bad guy, something has gone really, really wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, there was something I saw last week where a Chinese guy was on, and he was saying, y'all don't need tariffs. He said, y'all need a revolution. He said, and the reason you need a revolution is because your own oligarchs sold you down the river, got rid of the middle class, did everything and they told you, and then you said you liked it. So they sent all the jobs and manufacturing over to China. They did, and they said China, yes, it was willing. If you're going to buy everything from them, they were willing to take the
They're
money.
gonna make it, yeah.
But they said, this guy is saying, he said there was a big difference though. He said, and the difference is what we did with the money and what you did with the money. He said, what we did with the money in China is we uplifted our people. We put it into our people. We better housing, better infrastructure, better all kind of stuff. He said, that's what we did with the money that we got. He said, what did you do with the money? He said, your oligarchs took the money and bought mansions,
Yeah.
golf courses, yachts, private planes. They did all of those kind of things. So he said, it's not China that you need to blame. You need to blame yourself.
You need to be like, yeah, because it's American companies looking for cheap labor that sent those jobs
Right.
overseas.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it could have been China. They could have sent us to India. It'd have been the same situation. They chose low cost labor in China. They chose low cost labor all across Asia. You know what I mean? So no, it's not. We need to look at our own billionaires who outsource all this labor. But the simple truth of the matter is these jobs are not coming back.
No.
You know what I mean? Unless you want to pay $200,000 for a Ford F-150, because yeah, or whatever it is, because it's just what does it cost? What does it cost to what do you pay a laborer in Mexico to make a part? Or what do you pay a laborer in China to make a part, as opposed to what you have to pay a union labor in the U.S. You know what I mean? So here, you might be paying them a couple of dollars in Mexico, a couple of dollars in China, or a couple of dollars in Vietnam. Where here, that unionized labor, you're paying them $50, $60 an hour for the same part. I mean, so unless you want a $200,000 F-150 or a $200,000 Chevy Silverado, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen.
I want to kind of stop there on that particular topic and remind folks that we are going to have a drawing later on. We're going to spin our wheel and give away 5 pairs of tickets to see the Wiz that is coming. I think it's this Tuesday. Is it this Tuesday, Carl? Yeah, it's this Tuesday. So anyway, I just want to encourage you to stick around, and we're going to take those people, those names that are there, and give it to those individuals who's on. But the last topic I want to talk about is one that we kind of talked about off camera, and that's Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. I know we had another one between Burkina.
We did.
What happened? What was it?
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp. Okay. Let's do Burkina, and then we'll do a ticket drawing, and then we'll do Shannon. And
We
then
ain't
we'll
gonna do Shannon.
Why we ain't gonna do Shannon?
Okay, you want to do Shannon? Okay.
I don't care. We can do Shannon. I don't care. Either way, we do Shannon.
I wasn't gonna do Shannon, but if you want to do Shannon, we can do Shannon.
We'll do Shannon right now, then. We'll do Shannon. We'll get Shannon over with. So,
Well,
what's your opinion on Shannon?
well, there's a new lady who has come and brought charges against him, and all I know is that
Blood in the water. So guess what's gonna happen when you blood in the water? The sharks are gonna circle. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity for money.
there is. I saw a thing where it showed that the lady who is suing Shannon Sharp had the first lady had said I was going to get it. He was working. She was working for him, and she was sleeping with him, and it was said that one of the other coworkers said, hey, this ain't gonna work, and she said, oh, I got him on a short leash.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I got him on a short leash, and if he turns on me, then I'll turn on him.
So that's the issue though. You know
I
what I
couldn't
mean?
find him in your Apple Music library.
Oh,
So that's the problem is, man. Yeah, Shannon's a single guy. He can do whatever he wants to. You know what I mean?
Right.
and he's a millionaire, he's single, whatever. But at the same time, man, like, come on, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta watch yourself. You gotta watch who you're dealing with. You gotta protect yourself. Watch the people you're around. And so you can't, you automatically know if you are on television and you're making that kind of money, you have that kind of career, you automatically know there's some people out there who are looking to get what they can get from you.
But Caleb, that's happened to us before.
That's what I'm saying.
Men, it always.
Okay, so he should have known
Them
better.
women
Right?
got some powerful stuff, fella.
No,
Okay,
no,
you better watch out.
no,
Hey,
no. It's 3 billion women in the world. They
Right.
all got the same thing.
huh?
It's 3 billion of them in the world. And they all got the same thing.
And it's all powerful.
No, it ain't all powerful. Don't tell that lie. No, it is not. They need to. I mean, Shannon needs. He should have protected himself. And this goes for anybody out there who's in the media, who's a personality, who has some money. You know what I mean? You just need to be careful of who you're around, who you let in your circle, who you deal with, and guard what you built.
Who he made you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at him.
You need to protect what he built. I mean, that goes
I'm
for all of
saying it
them.
goes over.
That's what I'm saying.
It's Shannon Sharp today. It's gonna be somebody else.
It's gonna
tomorrow.
be. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have to learn the same lesson over and over and over and over again, right? By now, you should have learned that lesson, man. You protect yourself. You know what I mean? People are gonna be out to get you. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you, whatever fantasies you want to run or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Hey, they got NDAs, they got all kind of agreements to say this relationship was mutual, this relationship was a consensual relationship. If you have access to attorneys,
But now the lawyer in me says you can have a disclaimer, you can have a prenuptial, whatever.
uh-huh.
When we split up, I'm still gonna sue you.
That's all right, because I'm pulling out
Okay.
that paper. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right. I mean,
You can't sue me and say I did something to you when this right here says I have a signed notarized document saying that this relationship was consensual. You know what I mean? And it wasn't there
it was consensual when I signed it, but it, it ain't consensual
all that's gonna
now.
be all that's gonna be on the paper. You can leave anytime you want to leave. You know what I mean?
Well, look, let's talk real quick about Burkina Faso because that has really intrigued me to a certain degree. This guy who is the president has been in for just about 18 months or so. And the things that he's done with that country has been fascinating.
Yeah.
So you are a resident expert on this. Tell us about Burkina Faso.
No. So Captain Ibrahim Traore, he took power from another from another military man. And in the short period of time, the brother's in his 30s.
Is it?
Yeah, he's only in his 30s. The youngest leader in the world right now. And the young brother, I mean, and he served his country in combat. The brother saw combat in multiple tours. He's not a coward. Brother he's sharp and he's brave and he's a leader and he's doing what any number of African leaders could do. Burkina Faso is a small landlocked country with no
But wait a minute. You said what any country should be able to do.
any of these leaders.
But why haven't they done it? They have not done it.
Because they're all about themselves. They're all about graft. And this is why he's such a big threat. That man went and stood before every single leader in Africa, right? They had a conference. And that man came and said, he stood there, he said, I'm the only one here wearing clothes that were made by my own people. And looked at all of them.
Yeah, they're doing cotton now. They're doing
Well, that was their reason. They cotton and gold and stuff like that. But he went there and
rice.
told them,
They're growing their own rice.
all of those people, he went and looked them in the eye.
Right.
All of you people are shopping in London and Paris. I'm the only one here wearing stuff made by my own people.
Right.
He embarrassed them. He's a threat. He's a threat not only to them, not only to the West, but to the other. Because people are looking at you like, if he can do this, why y'all can't do this? You know what I'm saying? He's landlocked. He doesn't even have a port.
Tell us about the new deal he just signed with Russia.
So, I mean, he signed a deal for nuclear energy. So
And it's only, I think it's a lease just for a certain
So
period of time.
they're going to have reliable, clean nuclear power. So the brother has, again, launched their own, they're building their own electric vehicles, their own car company. He took control of all the nation's gold reserves. So now they're processing gold. They built a processing plant. So they're processing gold in Burkina Faso. He's increased manufacture, of course, cotton and everything else. And of course, like you said, they started to grow their own rice, which is a huge import for African countries. Normally, they spend a lot of money importing rice, so they're growing their own rice. The brother has created this alliance of Sahel states between Burkina Faso, Mali.
What kind of state?
It's called the Alliance of Sahel States. So they call the area the Sahel. This area of the Sahara called the Sahel. So it's the Alliance of Sahel States it's alliance between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, where they promise to protect each other from outside aggression. But this brother, like I said, he made college education free. The brother has, he's rolling back and defeating a lot of the terrorists in his country. Just everything he's done has been on point. And it's to the point right now where he's a hero, not only in Burkina Faso, but all across Africa. And people are taking to the street saying, if you attack Ibrahim Traore, you've attacked all of us.
Wow.
Yeah, you have 1.2 billion Africans who are out there saying, if you attack this man, you attacked all of us. We're
So
tired of you killing
they're
our
not
heroes.
only talking about just attacking him, or those leaders aren't talking. They're not a member of the Burkina Faso country.
No.
You're saying any of them.
Every single African country he has a following, an enormous following all throughout.
Why does he have this following like that?
Because he's doing what people have wanted African leaders to do. Love your people.
Okay.
Take care of your people. Make sure the resources go to uplifting the life of your people. And that's what this man is doing. This man drives a regular car. He's not driving a fleet of Rolls Royces or a fleet of Mercedes or whatever it is. He ordered all civil servants to drive a regular car. All civil servants donate a small percentage of their salary to charity. These people are rolling back to Sahara. You know what I'm saying? Planting trees. There's every single thing that this man has done has been on point.
I want to publicly thank you because before doing this show and before knowing you, I had never heard of the word Burkina Faso.
But you know what?
The hell is that?
I think I know, but a lot of people in this country have not, though. You know what I mean? And so you're not alone. So a lot of people in this country are not really familiar with a lot of different African countries, but that's by design. That's by design. Our education system is not built for us to know anything about Africa.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The only thing they want us to know about Africa is what we see on television and movies that are built on racist stereotypes and tropes.
Okay.
They don't want us to see the cities. They don't want us to see the progress. They don't want us to see the tremendous wealth. They don't want us to be unified. They don't want us to see people that look like us, who are doctors and lawyers, who are politicians, who are running their own country. They don't want us to see those things. You know what I mean? So Traore is a danger. Again, the black general who's in charge of the U.S. Africa Command has said that Traore spends his people's gold on protection. Well, he wouldn't have to spend it on protection if you people stop trying to kill him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, he's spending, but again, we spend our resources protecting the idiot we have in office.
Well, hopefully he's got somebody tasting his food.
No, he has protection because he has people. People are starting to sleep in the street. After he made that statement, people were sleeping in the streets around the presidential palace.
Wow.
Saying, we wish you would. You know what I mean? We wish y'all would send a SEAL team or anybody else, or we wish you would. And I think that right there will be the line. You know what I mean? These people have killed numerous of a bunch of our leaders. And they just tried to kill this man last week.
Well, let's wrap this up. I would like to encourage our listeners and viewers to be able to keep an eye on what's going on in Burkina Faso. I think it's very interesting. A lot of you know the sexiness of Ghana and you know what Ghana is doing for Americans, but learn another African country with Burkina Faso and look at what's going on there. I guarantee you, if you look at what's going on in Burkina Faso, we might be able to change maybe some of the things just within our neighborhoods. So look at that. Carl, what are we doing with these tickets?
Supposed to be giving away.
We're gonna keep them.
Okay.
Give them to the people in the street.
All right. All right. Well, looks like we're going to save this drawing for a later time. And you have anything last words you want to say?
No, it's been a great show. And so, no, yeah, just learn. Yeah, like just to reiterate what you said, learn about multiple African countries. You know what I mean? Today is a Pan African Festival.
Right.
So, yeah,
Which is why I got this on.
yeah. And so it's still going on. Carver Library, get across the street, support black business, support black economics, not just today, not just weekend, always continuously support black economics, support each other, support black businesses. What's going on out there right now, folks, is real. It is real. We just talked about the first 100 days, and it is going to be, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. You know what I mean? And so what's going on right now is very, very real. And so we need to definitely support each other, lean on each other. Chris is leaving us. Chris is leaving us.
Yeah.
So we on our own. He's chucking deuces. We on our own, but you know, we might manage to survive.
Y'all believe too much in this white man. I'm like, hey, I ain't sticking around if this is gonna work or revert back to the way it was. And I tell people all the time, I'm doing like Jesus. They said, what's that? I said, I go to prepare a place for you. So
make sure you have my bed down there.
exactly what I'm talking about. So look, this is Contemporary Black Voices telling our story our way, and we will see you next week.
Right.
All right.
Now, for some reason, your microphone really messed up. Is it on your chain?
No.